Good morning, everyone. I'm racing the Tarheel 10 miler today. Here's all my gear. I'm going to be running in a reckless running singlet like I always do. I figured I wasn't going to wear the one that is Duke Blue Devil Blue. That wouldn't be received too well in Chapel Hill, since it's of course the Tarheel 10 miler. So I decided to wear Davidson colors because that's my alma mater. Of course, everyone's going to think that's state colors up there. Like I usually do, wearing North Face BTN shorts, split shorts, because it's going to be warm out there. Injinji toe socks, lightweight. I'm going to bring a couple of gels. Probably going to take this caffeinated Martin a few miles into the race. Probably don't need to take a gel during a 10 miler, but I like to just for the extra pep. I might take the goo right before the start. I'm going to warm up and cool down in the ASICS Gel Nimbus 25. These guys have gotten a little bit dirty. It was pretty much 100% on the poll of which racing shoe I should use, that I should use the Hoka Rocket X 2. So I'm going to have these on my feet. I've only used them so far for that one 17-mile run that had some varied paces in it, and now I'm going to use them in a race situation and see if I can give a comprehensive review of them afterwards, because that will be plenty of miles to have gotten used to them. And I'm looking forward to it. So it's very early. I'm going to get some coffee in me, and because I need to drive to Chapel Hill. But first, I need to take care of this little guy. Right, Con? You kind of want to be up here on your ottoman, don't you? But I've got all my gear there instead. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, so I'm going to throw the weather up on the screen here, the projected weather for a few hours from now. It looks like for the race time, which is highlighted in that Carolina blue stripe, it's going to be about 60 degrees at the start, with a dew point not too far below that, which means it'll be fairly humid. Makes sense because there's some rain and storms coming in if you look a little bit lower on the page. It doesn't look like wind is going to be much of an issue. It'll be breezy. I think the gusts will mainly be either toward the end of the race or after I've finished. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Rain may end up being a thing. The rain likelihood is climbing during the time period where the race will be taking place. Thunder hopefully will not be an issue, because that could potentially delay a race like this. It should be noted that when I captured this weather data, it was a few hours ago, and every time I've looked at it, that storm likelihood has been getting closer and closer to race time. So we'll see what happens when I actually get to Chapel Hill. So it'll be a warm day, possibly humid, and I might have to deal with some rain. Sounds like I'm doing that a lot this spring. Hopefully nothing else severely impacting the race. I'm in the parking deck at UNC Chapel Hill, that is, and I'm about to go drop everything off in the bag drop. It's about 6 a.m. So the race will start in quite a while. It starts at 7:45, but they stressed for us to be here early because of hospital traffic and all of that. It's going to be a deep field because this is a pretty big 10-mile race. If I looked at last year's results, if I were to run the times that I've been running lately for 10 miles, that would put me in 22nd or 23rd place. I'd be lucky to get in the top 20 today. I might be able to squeak out an age group award. We'll see. That all depends on who shows up. But I'm just looking to have a good run. It's not going to be an easy course. It's going to be hillier than the Charlotte 10 miler. Not at all like the Gateway Trail 10 miler. But I know that Laurel Hill in the 9th mile is an infamous hill. So we'll see what happens today. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. So I have my drop bag, and I'm probably going to just change shoes into my racing shoes before the warm-up. because I don't want to be carrying stuff around. It looks like that's just a hassle I don't want to have to deal with. I'm quite far away from my car, so I'm not going to be able to drop stuff off there. It would be a bit of a hassle. I brought a shirt that I don't mind, losing, so I might just put the rest of my stuff in the drop bag, including the phone. So next time I talk to you will be after the race. But yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this shirt close to the start so I can keep warm before then. I'm doing my cool down right now on the beautiful UNC Chapel Hill campus. Anyway, man, that was a tough race. Very challenging course. Much more challenging than Charlotte 10 miler or some of the other local 10 milers I've done. Not as challenging as some of the trail 10 milers, obviously, but there were many significant hills. 5 infamous hills, actually. I have a t-shirt here that has the name of all 5 hills on the course. Laurel Hill is the one from mile 8.5 to 9.5 that's the most infamous, and man, did it zap me. Here's the well, the famous well that you think of when you think of UNC. Yeah, so it was not my fastest race, although I was pleased with my time. 61:59, 61:59.5 to be exact. And I was going to be happy with anything in the 62s, honestly, based off of how I was feeling, it being a warm day, and frankly, knowing that it was going to be a hilly course. I think there's something like 600 feet of gain on this 10-mile course. That's what Strava said, at least. Turn here. It did not rain until I was actually walking through the finishing chute. And I could have used that a few minutes before, honestly, in the last couple miles of the race. Qualitatively, while it wasn't my fastest 10 miler, it was one of my smartest. I went off conservatively, just kind of settled into effort. Normally, when I race, there are a lot of natural surges that I do, and I was actively trying not to do that, just settling into effort. This course made for plenty of surges on its own, and there were a lot of people out there just attacking the hills, especially early on, and I did the opposite. I just dialed back on the hills, and I could tell that was the wise move, because even though I was dialing back, people were coming back to me. And even though I was managing my energy well, that last hill, Laurel Hill, which is all of a mile and just huge, just zapped me. You feel like you're walking up it. Actually, you feel like you're walking up a mountain, but you're still running somehow. Anyway, let me take a breather and then talk about shoes. So the Hoka Rocket X 2. That's them. Hope I'm getting in the frame there. They are a very comfortable racing shoe. Comfortable is a good word, and that could mean a lot of things. That could mean they're just right for the effort. That could mean they hold up for a lot of miles. I think both of those would be true. They were one of those things that I didn't really have to think about when I was running. They're not the lightest shoe. I wouldn't say they're heavy. Most of those shoes are pretty light these days. I don't think they're as heavy as the Hoka specs make them out to be, but I didn't feel like I was weighed down on the uphills, and I felt like I could glide on the downhills. The downhills were extremely enjoyable on these shoes because I'm normally a mid-foot, almost 4-foot striker, but on the downhills, I wasn't exactly, let me pause here, I wasn't exactly heel striking, but I was landing maybe a couple centimeters closer to the rear foot. And I think with these shoes, there's a tapered softness the more close to the heel that you get. There's plenty of cushion underfoot, The heel is really soft. Those who heel strike would have a really forgiving response in these shoes. And they just roll nice and well. I have talked about that 5mm drop and that early meta stage rocker that they have, which is all very Hoka. You know, they're a fantastic geometry for the way I run. You know, I have a high cadence, you know, almost kind of a shuffle. I don't have that much of a high back kick, but, you know, I'm generally doing 185 to 195 steps per minute. Sometimes faster if I'm really kicking at the end. And they just seem to roll like that. You know, I feel like I have wheels under my feet like the Road Runner. I would say from the 10 mile or 15K distance up through the marathon, they are a fantastic choice. They will hold up, they're durable, they don't feel like, sometimes even a Vaporfly can feel kind of flimsy. These don't feel that way. I think if I were trying to run a 10K or shorter, there might be other shoes I would pick. Either something a little more low profile, like you know, the original Asics Metaspeed Edge, not the Edge Plus. I haven't run in that one. Or even the Vaporfly, just because it's lighter. The Vaporfly has just got a big wheelhouse. These, I could run a tough 10K in them. I definitely would not run a 5K in them. But yeah, anything where I'm going to be putting in a good amount of effort for a long time. I would think that if I'm having to go into the well and burn for a lot of the percentage of the race like I would for a 10K, I'd want something a little bit less forgiving, if that makes sense. You know, maybe more responsive, more bouncy, more springy. But these are plenty springy. They just, I think, are more for that smooth settling into effort, which for a lot of us that are doing half marathons and marathons, they would be great for that situation. I could see why a lot of people would put them up there with the Vaporfly, any iteration, as far as something they'd reach for a long race. So counting this cool down in my warm-up and the 10-miler race and the other run I've done, I've got a little over 30 miles on these, and I would say I'm very confident in recommending them as a good most-purpose race shoe, and I'm very happy with the purchase. That's what I have to say about the Rocket X2. I don't get into a lot of specs on my channel. I do enjoy the specs, but there's plenty of other people who can give that. I like just talking about how they feel and what I'd use them for. So that's a wrap on the Tarheel 10 miler and on the qualitative review of the Hoka Rocket X2. So I meant to talk about the competition too. I think it was at least as deep a field as it was last year, with me not being here last year. And that's mainly because I ran about the time I expected to run, close to it. And I was 27th overall, 25th male finisher. I finished where I thought I would finish as far as my age group. I was second in my age group, in the 40 to 44 age group. The winner in my age group was 4th overall, and he ran in 56 minutes. So I probably wasn't even in his world at all. But I was looking around early on at the people who looked my age, and I thought I pretty much had at least an age group award coming my way from pretty early on. I might have passed some of my age group competitors about halfway through. So early on, it was hard to tell how many people shot out in front of me. More than 50, fewer than 100, probably 60 or 70 of them. Like I said, I just kind of raced my own race, stuck into my effort, and tried to maintain that. Let the hills come as they may. The downhills, I was able to just ride and relax and breathe. Started headhunting, from a couple miles in, just started picking people off. They kept on coming back to me. I think one person passed me on Laurel Hill, and that guy came out of nowhere. He was finishing really strong. But I probably passed 30 or 40 people. And at the end, it started to get pretty lonely. There were still people in my world, but they were coming back to me more and more gradually. So, like I said,
not the fastest 10 miler, and I can attribute that to a lot of things. But one of my smarter races, and I'm happy with that. I certainly recommend this race. Is it easy? No. Are you going to PR a 10 miler? Probably not, unless you only run hard 10-mile courses. But it's a beautiful course. It's a big race. There's over 3,000 people here doing the 10 miler. I don't know how many did the 4 miler. There's also, you can do the double down challenge, which is you can do the 4 miler starts at 7:15 a.m., the 10 miler at 7:45. You can run both of them. You can register for both at a discounted rate and run both of them. And I might do that next year, because I don't think I would come here trying to PR or set a specific time, but that would be a fun challenge, is doing the double down next year. You can tell this isn't even a small fraction of the amount of people here. A lot of them are still out on the course. But Tarheel 10 miler, I recommend it. It would be good to get a bunch of people from my area and maybe stay over on Friday night and not have to drive 2+ hours to get here early in the morning. So yeah, second age group, finishing in the top 1%. I'll call that a good day, and I will call that a wrap. Thank you for watching to the end.